Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm working on this kitchen island here in a house that we're building. And if you hear the shop vac going back there doing some cleanup. But I figured I'd do a little how-to video for anybody that's interested in adding on to a kitchen island like this. So we've got the 3 cabinets there already. And I've went ahead and made sure everything is where I want it to be on these ends on each side and the distance that I want it to be. So that part is done. Now need to measure out on the floor down here how far out we want to come. And this one is going to be like from this side over here, it's going to be coming out, over, and then back in, if that makes sense. Here, I'm turning you around and show you more what I mean. So this is going to be a 2x4 add-on here. So the countertop is going to come out way out here and make it a bigger island. So kind of got it marked on the floor there. It's going to come out 24 inches, and then from here it's going to come in this way right there and then come out. So it'll give an extra 7 inches is what we've come up with. 7 inches of like an entrance there to be able to hide your stools, and really more so for us what we're doing is trying to give ourselves some more leg room when we're sitting at the island or when the kids are sitting at the island. So I've already measured from here to here where it's going to end. That's 24 inches, so I'm going to go ahead and cut those. The 24 for the bottom, the 24 inch for the top, and the same for that side, 24 and then a 24 for the top. That's going to be step 1. Then I'll build those walls to the height that I need it. Now we've got to see where this needs to go. I highly recommend one of these big, this is cheap, it's like $10 for a 48 inch, 4-foot level. But you can put it on your cabinet here. That'll straighten everything else out here. And that'll tell us where we need to have that. And then we can measure top to bottom how high we need to be. Now we got to take into account 2x4 here on the bottom, and then a 2x4 here on the top. So that distance between the top and the bottom plate is what we need to know for our cripples that are in the middle there. Do the same thing on this side, and now we've got where our bottom plates need to be. There's lots of ways to be able to measure this, but I know that this one is going to line up right there with the top. So I can take my Sharpie, make a little line right there at the bottom, and then I can measure up, and that tells me what my distance needs to be. So I made my mark on both sides, and that distance from the top of that bottom plate to the bottom of the top plate is 31.5 inches. So I'm going to go cut a couple 31.5 inch boards, and we'll go ahead and start making our walls. Now these little ends here, you can just knock off with a little sanding pad. That's what I typically do. Just around on all 4 of those just to knock that off of there. Nothing fancy. Just to get those taken care of. But I won't bore you with that. I'll finish this up and then go back inside and we'll take it from there. Alright, I've got all of my 24 inch pieces. That's the top and bottom, and I've got my 3 31.5 inch pieces on both sides. I'm going to connect these tops and bottoms. Now I'm going to use my nail gun. You can definitely use screws too and just screw them all together. But if you do, I'd recommend pre-drilling your holes, 1, 2 here, and then screwing them in. Since I'm using the nailer, I'm not going to do that, of course, but I'm going to go ahead and build these 2 walls, and then we'll go from there. And if you're wondering what I'm doing with my tape measure, I guess I should have said that. I know this is 24, so 12 is right there in the middle. So I'm just centering this middle one here. So we're gonna have electric come up on both sides. And so that'll give the electricians a stud to be able to come up through the floor underneath where the wire is right now and put a box there on each side. So that's all I'm doing, is making sure those are centered and those are even, so it'll be the same on both sides. Just thought I'd say that. All right, now we'll line these up again with that level, making sure that they are even and flush with the cabinet, and then we'll nail these into the subfloor there. That'll hold them together, and then we'll continue our next wall, which will be in 7 inches and go straight across to the other side. And I'm out of nails, so I'm gonna have to get some more nails, then I can finish this off. All right, I'm gonna have to come back tomorrow because I don't have any more nails. I thought I had some more, but while I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna plumb this up where it needs to be on top too, and then screw into the back here on each side and make sure that it's level and plumb. We'll go ahead and level this, make sure that it's even here. Counter, pre-drill our hole here. We will sink one of these screws in place. Now what I'll do is go ahead and measure from here to here. I can go ahead and cut this wood and have it ready to go once I have more nails for that guy right there. Now we'll just measure from the end here on up, do the same on the other side, and it'll give us our 7 inches on both sides. Now I'll go ahead and cut my top plate because I got my bottom plate done. Cut the top plate, and we know that the cripples in the middle, the supports, are 31.5 because that's what we did on our side supports. So I'll go ahead and cut our top plate and then measure out how many of the cripples for the middle supports that I want to put on this one. All right, so I went with 4 in the middle, and the way that I evenly spaced that, just so you know, I measured from the inside corner of this one to the inside corner of this one. Came up with 55 inches, divided that by 5, and that would give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes right there, and only make me have to have 4 of these. And so that put them right at 11 inches on center for each one of those. So tomorrow I'm gonna come back, I'll have more nails. I'm gonna bring the whole box just in case, but I'm gonna nail this wall together, and then it'll be ready to put in right across there. And then we'll tie everything up in together at the top there, and we'll be ready for flooring. All right, guys, back here the next day. Brought a whole box of nails. I have plenty. I do have to build this wall right here, so nail it all together. And I talked to my countertop guy, and it's pretty heavy stone that we're putting on this. So what we're gonna do is, like I said, it's about 7 inches in that this wall on the floor is going to be in, going across this way. What we're also going to do is build a second wall just like the one on the floor, do it halfway between the back of these cabinets and this front wall. So somewhere right in here will give some extra middle support. So I'm going to build 2 of these walls. I'm going to build this one that's basically already done. We'll build another one identical to it, put it all into place, and we'll be done. So I went ahead and built this wall, and I've marked here. I ended up measuring back from here to here on both sides. Use my speed square make sure it's perfectly even there. And once I made that mark, I know that this wall, the tail end here, should butt up to this side of it. And so I went ahead and measured from this line to the back of the cabinets, came up with my center line on both sides. So I'm really going to go ahead and move this wall to this center, and then I'll build the extra wall for the back here. So I went ahead and nailed all of those to the bottom. So it's plumb and straight, but I want to make sure this lines up pretty good. This doesn't have to be perfect as much as this one does. This is just a support in the middle, but I still want to make it nice. So plan on, I can't get these nails, you know, they just basically go to, they may poke out a little bit of this end. So I'm going to screw these together, this piece and this piece. And to do so, I'm going to, right across my center line, I'm going to pre-drill, which takes care of a big gap of that and leaves me plenty of room for my screws to go into this other board. So that's the goal. I'm going to do that, and I'll use a paddle bit. I'll show you that in here in just a second to drill out this hole up into there, and then we'll screw into it. So I've got my paddle bit here, just something big enough to be able to put a hole here for my extender to be able to fit into, so I can drive it in there. Also, a little trick I like to do is lay out how far I want that to go, which is right there. I'll put a piece of tape on, and that tells me where to stop whenever I'm drilling this into this 2x4. Now I'll do the same thing on this other side. All right, final piece is built, put together. Now I've just got to line it up. These marks that I've made on each side, tack it in the bottom, and we'll do the same thing that we did on the middle set of boards right there, that middle wall, and drill through so that it's a good tight fit. All right, guys, this is the final look. We've got the end here. We'll scab all of this around these and out, all the way down here. The whole thing will get painted, and then we've got our center for support right there. Turned out pretty good.